Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 5 Drinks to Midnight. In the show, we bring the questions, guests bring the drinks, we try to wrap up before midnight. Today we are headed back into Williamsburg. We're going to the Richardson to talk to Frank Caiafa, Spirits Portfolio Director of Banville Wine Merchants and Principal of Handle Bars NYC. But before we do, like and subscribe, hit the bells, the whistles, you know what to do. Let's get started. Frank, thanks so much for joining us. 5 drinks for midnight, 5 drinks, 5 questions, midnight, whatever comes first. Thanks for inviting us to the Richardson. How you doing today, sir?
I am great.
Excellent. Yes, first question, what are we drinking first?
First, we're drinking a nice aperitivo wine, Savoia, newly created by Giuseppe Gallo. Pretty cool. It's both a vermouth and an aperitivo wine. I like it a lot. It's great for the season as well.
Awesome. Cheers.
Fills a lot of holes.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's fucking nice.
It's great in Manhattan, a Negroni, a Spritz, Solo, Club Soda, Americano, name it, use it. It's great.
Question 1. It's always a little bit of an origin story, but how'd you get started in the spirits business? From basically bar manager of Peacock Alley to running your own consulting company, and now, like, how'd you get started?
Oh, I fell in it like the good old way. I used to work for the Port Authority in New York and New Jersey in operations, and they downsized my whole department on my 29th birthday. So at the time, I took my little severance and bought a couple of guitars and started a band. Wanted to tick that box, and that's what I wound up doing. And in order to supplement myself, I attended bar.
Okay.
And not too far from here, in a place that used to be called J&D's, underneath the BQE.
Okay.
And I did that for about, I don't know, there. I mean, I didn't start there, but I started in the city and all of that. But I wound up there most lengthily till 9/11, which was subsequently my band's release date for their first album. We know, unfortunately, how that did.
Yeah.
So everything got canceled, and a friend was opening a fine dining Italian restaurant up the block, and I left that bar to dip my toe into the murky waters of Italian fine dining, and that proved pretty successful. And I went from there to, I opened Battery Gardens, Battery Park with Paul McKay, who's a well-known events director at the Plaza, among other places, and he opened that place as his own.
Okay.
And he hired me to run the bars. And I actually was an assistant, and the guy who was supposed to run the bars, his father unfortunately passed away as we were getting knee deep in it, so I fell into that job whether I was ready for it or not. So that was a real learning experience.
Wow.
And I stood there for about a year, 2 summers. The summers drove me crazy because it's Battery Park.
Right.
Couldn't do that for long. And I applied to one other job, and it was a hotel job, and it was a hotel manager position. And it wound up being reopening of Peacock Alley for the first time since 9/11. I had opened 3 restaurants in 2 years at that point, and I didn't want to open another one. And they had talked me into it. The reason why I went was the culinary pedigree, to be able to work with a real, not that I didn't work with chefs, I worked with Ari Niemanen, he was the consulting chef at Battery Gardens, and Tommy Lee, and I learned a lot there as well, don't get me wrong. And even Francesco Corso down the block here, I learned a lot. He was a chef at Rennie. And so it all kind of speedballed up to Peacock Alley, where Cedric Tovar was the chef, and Nancy Olson was the pastry chef, and Evelyn Chu was the beverage director. And these were people I would have never been able to, glean any information from if I didn't take the job. So
Sure.
I took the job.
Okay.
The rest, I wound up staying there from the summer of fall of '05 to its closure in '17.
Okay. And then what made you want to write the book then?
Isn't that a second question?
Well, no, it's kind of a little bit of the first one, but yeah.
The book came about because I was there in the 2010. I wanted to do something different. I had been there 5 years, and I was talking about my career moves with the director of food and beverage at the time, Ed Casa, who was a friend, and I had started a blog back then, as one would do, and I was taking recipes from the old book, just based on seasonality, and showing the old recipe, a current tweak, a little paragraph, so basically the format of this book, but recipe by recipe. The only one that this doesn't have are the old original recipes.
Okay.
But yeah, and then I got about 5 or 6 deep. I was sending them to the staff, just something if there's somebody asked for a bespoke cocktail, just some ideas. Maybe some made the menu and they didn't. But when I sat down with Ed and I was like, he said, "What are you up to?" I said, "Well, I'm putting this blog together." And then out of nowhere, I said, "What's happening with those 2 old books? Anybody going to do anything with them?" And the assistant director of F&B was walking by, Brian Woody, and he said, "You're the guy."
So you asked
"What?"
the question, and then you were told you're doing it.
Yeah, and then I sent some blog examples to Eric Long, the GM, and Ed said he's never answered an email so quickly with a resounding yes, and then we were off to the races.
Wow.
But it kind of felt natural because right around that time I signed on to do a bar in the village called the Vaulted Fast, which was in homage to Charles Faff's beer cellar. And it was also pre-prohibition drinking, but much earlier, probably Civil War era in New York City,
Okay.
all that era. And so that really was the impetus for starting, and I was already down the rabbit hole at that point. Tacking on a few more decades into prohibition, and was nothing at that point.
That's awesome. How long did the book take?
Seriously, the research was ongoing because I had the other bar, but I would say all in about 5 years, and 3 years, 2 hard years of every night going home, R&D. The hotel was very kind. As soon as like happy hour or an allowance to get out of there with some gas in the tank. I tried doing it, coming home late and doing it into the wee hours and extending my day, but you needed a lot of energy.
Okay.
Because I wrote it all myself. And there's over 800 recipes in this book, and I made every one of them.
Wow.
So even the ones that say, change the aromatic bitters to orange bitters and it becomes this, I made that journey.
Okay.
Like every one.
Awesome. Well, it's a great book. Like I just got it, so like I've been paging through it, and I loved it. You're very much focused in a little bit on the home bartender because
yes, that's who I really wrote it for. I wrote it, although it would be great for the bartender in general who's working. I wanted it to appeal to the hotel guests, to the home bartender, the enthusiast, anyone who has a passing interest in even a once a week cocktail person. Leave it by the end table and something to flip through. Yeah, that's the idea.
That's awesome. Well, there we go. That's question 1. So,
all right.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Drink 2. Question 2. What are we drinking?
What are we drinking? I wanted to opt for something familiar yet different.
Okay.
This is a classic Bronx cocktail, popularized at the old Waldorf Bar, of course. But this is the pre-pro stirred version.
Okay.
Not the popularized brunch time staple that brought its fame and glory, heavy on the juice and shaken. This is a stirred, augmented, perfect martini, and with orange peel and a little bit of orange juice stirred.
All right.
And orange bitters.
Awesome. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
So more like a summertime pre-dinner martini. than the, Caiafa Little Brunch banger. And it's made with some nice products there.
I was gonna say.
Pachinque gin from Italy, although not a London dry. It's in preparation. In style, it reminds me of a savory London dry, sage forward, and it's a unique item. It definitely makes a hell of a martini. The other two are Piemonte vermouths, Oscar 697. The Rosso is a Rosso, great on its own and in many cocktails. It's not over the top. And the Bianco is slightly aromatized Bianco vermouth, less sweet and more complex.
Okay. That would just absolutely make you just give me a taste of that. That is fucking glorious.
Yeah,
that
the Bianco
really,
fills a lot of holes.
yeah, that's really, really nice. All right, so question 2. You have Handle Bar Consulting. Where did the name come from and what does the name mean? Because bar world, handlebar,
I was forced into, when you start an escort, you have to name it.
Yep.
So you have to submit the top 3. And luckily, I have it at home. I forgot what the other 2 were. And I just wanted to play on handlebars.
Okay.
Handling bars.
I thought maybe the mustache from the old
People
school.
said that to me, but that did not equate when I did say it. Once you see the website and me holding the drink, it becomes clear what it means.
Yeah. So again, you do a lot of consulting for brands, but also bars. What is one red flag that you are talking?
This place needs help.
Yeah.
A giant sphere in a coop.
Okay.
No. I don't know. I think right away, not having the labels facing the guest, tends to think it's more of an issue with the staff and management.
Okay.
More than anything else. But that means it's not being driven home. It's careless, not working clean. When I see a bar all in disarray and the bartender like some kind of Tasmanian devil behind the bar, things flying, rags being tossed around, definitely could use some management.
Okay.
But menu-wise, if you go, luckily, cocktailing has risen to the point where even, fast food chains and whatnot, airport bars, all have some semblance of knowing what they're doing, right? There's rhyme and reason to most menus. There's some, nowhere I'm sure still doing blue curacao this and whatever that. But, it's okay. It's variety too.
Yep.
Fishbowl.
Yeah, the giant, hurricane glasses that are...
It's fun. It's all fun. We gotta have fun.
For me, kind of going out, I don't want to say I'm always working, but I'm always looking for that next story.
Yeah.
But for you, you're on that that opposite side. Are you, when you go out, do you have fun anymore? Or are you always working?
I try to shut it down. And plus, I know what to expect when you're in a place. What to expect when walking in through the door. If it's a sports bar, am I going to comfortably feel safe ordering a Vespa? Probably not a good idea. Right? So keep it to what the place does. It's also great advice.
Yeah.
That's one thing about the Richardson. When this opened in 2009, it was a refuge for that. You knew you coming in and your Manhattan wasn't going to be shaken, or you can order a Vespa and they would know what you're talking about. A Sazerac and things off that second tier. Once you get past Martini and Manhattan, I think that's what the best bars do well. Right?
Okay.
You don't even need a menu.
Right.
Bars. You can order a beret, and the bartender is not going to look at you like you had 3 heads.
Yeah. And then kind of going back to your old school bartending days, did you prefer being an opening bartender or a closing bartender?
It was different back then, here in the neighborhood comes to mind. My Saturday afternoons would rock.
Okay.
People came in and watched the races or watched the ball game, and all the guys came in. Those are the days that you put 20 on the bar and buy everybody a drink.
There you go.
So if everybody left you with a $5 or $10 bill back then, and you had 20 guests, you had a good afternoon. I didn't mind either.
Okay.
Closing was more for the weekends. Was a real closing in a local neighborhood bar. Right, closing was your call. during the week, and then the weekends you obviously stay later to show your guests a good time.
Okay.
Make sure that folks enjoyed their weekend. But even in the city, I didn't mind closing either. Those were the money nights,
Okay.
of course, and that's why we're there, right?
I mean, yeah, you're just down there to make money. So.
Yeah.
Did you have an opening hype song and a closing get the fuck out song?
No, we ran the jukebox.
Okay.
And, that wasn't the day of the iPod, but pre-iPod.
Well, there we go. I mean, I think those are my 3 questions for question 2. So
Right,
we nailed it.
On to the next one.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, question 3, drink 3. What are we drinking?
Well, this is a unique whiskey as well. This is Dry Fry from Washington State. This is the Triticale grain. Triticale, if you don't know, is a hybrid grain of wheat and rye. First produced in Scotland in the late 19th century. So it's grown specifically now in the Northwest. There's only a couple of distilleries that use Triticale as the main grain. And this is 100% Triticale, and this is one of them, and this is a great rendition.
I love this stuff. I look for these guys when at the whiskey shows. Like, this bottle is always under the table, so you always gotta ask for it. But I'm a big fan of these guys.
The 100% wheat cask strength is also a banger.
Yeah, that's just so damn good.
Right? It's like a drink in a glass.
Yeah, absolutely.
Orange peel and this and that.
Yeah. The sugar, it's just it's sweet, spicy. It's got a nice.
It's fine. It's 90 proof. It's definitely an under the radar whiskey. Hence why I'm showing it off today.
No, I love it. Like, thank you so much. Like, it's gorgeous. All right, so question 3. You've been quoted as saying,
"Oh boy,
the drinks are free. You pay for the hospitality."
yeah."
In your mind, what makes a great bar and what makes a great bartender?
Well, hospitality first, right? If a great bartender serves you a cold beer, you're gonna have a great time. And if a miserable bartender serves you a nice cold beer on a hot day, you're still not gonna have a great time, right? And you can read the guy's having an argument with management, or broke up with his significant other, and any other myriad of things that go on in people's lives. The pub stands for public house, right? So you're welcoming someone to your house, I feel, I've always felt, and I left it at the door. There's ways, today I've said online at some point in response to that, someone asked me, and I was like, there are no bad days, that's a personal days.
Sure.
I don't mean that in a long-term sense if you're going through something, but certainly for the day, if you're going through something that's going to inhibit what you do for a living, that is certainly what a sick day is for, and that you're better off not going in.
Right.
If you're going to take it out on your guests or not do the best that you can do. Especially today where a 20 doesn't buy a round of drinks, it buys one drink.
One drink, yeah.
So, all things being equal, they pay for the hospitality.
Yeah.
So I'm adamant about that. I think it's an important part. The most important part of the job is to, put smiles on people's faces, and as hackneyed as it may sound, make memories and all that. That is part of it, especially with the cost of things being as they are.
Agreed. Do you think that, and again, this is kind of my chicken before the egg, or what came first kind of thing, but do you think a bartender makes a bar, or does a bar make a bartender?
I think the people make a bar.
Okay.
The guests, right? Without them, you don't have a bar, we have an empty room.
Okay.
But a great bartender makes the people happy and makes them stay for another round, and makes them enjoy that time more, and makes it more memorable, and makes them go for a third drink that maybe they didn't think they were planning on having. Meet some other new friends at the bar. The bartender is a conduit to new relationships, and I've met certainly many people here from the bar staff here that, hey, Frank, Bob, and now I have people that when I come in here, I wouldn't have known had this place not been, or otherwise too, So there's that.
Okay. I agree. I think that people make the bar. I think your clientele is going to tell you what kind of bar you have. Like,
Right.
build your
Also, I
bar.
feel that the folks who open bars, especially today, should have a vision of what they want to provide for rejected guests. But an ability to navigate that and evolve and realize that maybe it only goes this far. Or maybe this clientele is much more advanced than I thought. Maybe I need to step it up. So all of that goes into play as well.
And then question 3 is usually our little bit of what we call it the talking shit segment, because we've had 3 drinks a little bit. But, just getting to know you, so I didn't want to go that route. But how do you feel about star tenders?
Everyone's a star tender in their own book. Is that politically correct?
Sure.
That's why people get into bartending.
Yeah.
They be the fucking star.
Yeah.
Right? Of the show, of the night, of the place. So everyone's really a star tender if you're talking about the extension of social media and what that does, and it validifies it, validates that. I think. Oh, this is the third drink. And, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If it's done in favor of the house,
okay.
In tandem with the house, in order to help the place that provides you an income, be on the radar of more guests, potential guests, I think it's fine, If it's solely the Bob show, I may have a problem with that if it was my bar. Or,
sure.
There's ways to do it to appease everyone and
okay.
do it from the right platform.
All right.
I think.
Awesome. Well, there we go. Question
Is that what
3.
you meant about star tender?
Yeah, pretty much. All right, question 4, drink 4, what are we drinking?
In homage to the house and Joel's generosity for having us here, this is a house cocktail created during the dark days of COVID, and this is the Harvester of Sorrow.
Okay.
And this is his barrel pick of Russell's Reserve 110 proof bourbon with Chine and Amaros Sfumato.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, that's nice.
This is very good.
That is nice. That Chine with the Russells is just.
This will cure what ails you.
Yeah, right. Or fuck it, you won't care either way. So.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't, you'll be like, I'm too happy to even care. That. Oh. All right. So question 4. It's a smattering of questions that, again, as you are a true legend, I did a lot of research, and everybody was like, just ask him this, ask him this, ask him this. So question 4 is going to just be a lot of quick fire questions. So first part, you talk about people making the bar, and that is one of the most important things. The book, you have a drink named after Cole Porter, and how he was a regular at the bar. If today there was somebody that was going to come into your bar that you would make a cocktail after, who would it be, and what would the cocktail be?
I name one after you.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And I'd call it the Camera's Eye.
Okay, excellent.
And it would be a rye whiskey neat.
I appreciate that.
Just
No, I love it because again,
actually, my favorite recipe in the book that I created for someone was Terrence Stamp.
Okay.
The actor, and it's called the Lime.
Okay.
And it was with a organic lime gin out of California. I don't even know if it's still produced, but I had sent him a copy of the book, and his handlers in London, and it got to him. And this was like maybe when the book was released. So it was released in May of 16. So like Christmas of that year, I get a package in the mail, and I have pictures of this. I should send them to you. It's like a piece together of paper bag, and inside of it is a letter on mimeograph, not copied.
Okay.
Mimeograph letterhead from the Limey, and scribbled in like a construction worker's pencil where you would shave it with a knife, with a jackknife. Like, it was insane. And he's like, I gotta send you the letter.
Please,
so,
yeah.
Maestro, the Waldorf Astoria Bar Book. I pictured it in my head. My dad would be out of his mind. It went on.
That's fucking awesome.
I had it framed, professionally framed, and I didn't put it up in my list, but I will one day. It's just an awesome piece.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it was a great interaction. I wish I would be able to make him that drink, but then the hotel closed.
Okay. What is your biggest pet peeve about a cocktail or a spirits brand right now?
Beefy to go into not proof. I'll join the brigade and I'll stand on Dave Washington's coffee table and scream out loud.
Also, Robert Simonson from New York Times. Also, he was really pissed off about that as well. Yeah.
Go at it.
Yeah.
Several times a month.
And then, what is your favorite cigar to have with a drink?
Just one that's well tempered.
Okay.
Not a dry one. So many people give you cigars and you can tell they weren't cared for properly. But I pride myself in having a well-maintained humidor.
Okay.
And it's not so much, it's like almost a cold beer in a dive bar.
Okay.
I can have a crappy cigar, or not the finest in the world, let's say, but if it's well tempered and humidified and smoking well, it's a much better experience than it should or could be, you know?
Well, again, I think throughout the whole entire interview, the most important thing for you is just take care of the things, yes, and then you will be okay. Yes. It may not be the best in the world, but like just take it, it will work. And the next question was, what's the next advice? But I think that is kind of the best advice to have. Just take care of your things and everything will be okay. Well, there we go. That's rapid fire question 4. So we are good to go. So cheers to you, sir. Question 5, drink 5. Last drink of the night. What are we drinking?
This is Pritchard's Tennessee Double Chocolate Bourbon.
Oh, all right.
This is a special item. Technically, it's not a double no chocolate. It's just basically 6-year-old barrels of his Tennessee whiskey that he feels has a chocolate note.
Okay.
And then he uses the used cocoa nibs from Olive and Sinclair out of Nashville. They're a chocolatier. And he uses their used cocoa nibs, puts them in the barrel for 1 to 3 days, strains it out, and there's your double chocolate. There's no sugar, no candy, no anything, no flavors other than whatever is naturally left behind by the nibs. So it's very subtle, it's a great cigar malt, it's great anything after dinner, makes a great old fashioned.
All right.
There's a splurge, it's very nice, but it's one of my favorite whiskeys.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
That's nice. It's very cigar-y, right? Like it is almost tobacco-y.
Pipey.
Yep.
But you get that cocoa note, it's subtle at the end, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's good and unique.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
I've never had this before, so thank you. All right, so question 5 comes down to our Whiskey Wednesday coin. You can flip it, you can spin it. You don't have to answer. But our question 5 comes from our friend Amanda Schuster. She wants to know, will the Problems ever release a new album?
I don't think so, but you never know. You never know. But can I spin this?
Please, yeah. I would love to see what the coin has to say. The coin says fuck no.
Well, I'll try my best to make the coin wrong.
All right, we love that. So,
all right.
Well, Frank, that's 5 drinks down, 5 questions answered. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
It was
fun.
It was honestly, this is talking to a true legend. So I really appreciate your time and great drinking with you. And
thank you. Cheers.
I hope we can drink together soon.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
cheers.
absolutely.
Thank you so much.
See you out there.